Hey, howdy hey, and welcome back to Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. Thank you for joining me for the final video of Stalker Month, as late as it is, and thank you to everyone who voted between these two films. And it seems that you all wanted this one. Ah, you're reviewing Single White Female then? Yes I am. But why did you even put it as one of the options? Because all the films I've reviewed thus far have had male stalking victims, which slightly goes against statistical evidence to suggest that women are actually more commonly stalked than men. But it isn't technically stalking. Oh, come on, Killjoy. I'm just stating the facts. You can't argue with factual information. Yeah, well, you're harshing our buzz. Okay, let me put it this way. Do you remember when we were kids, and we were watching something on TV about stalking, and I said to the nearest adult, hey, why doesn't she just go on a date with him and then maybe he'll stop being so threatening? I remember! Oh, don't kids say the darndest things? Yes, well, I think this movie accurately represents what it would be like if you let your pursuer in on your life. The only reason our main character doesn't recognise it as stalking is because the other woman is currently living in her house. Hey, you should have let us in on the vote. That would have been fun, right? Why? Which film would you have voted for? Probably both of them. Whichever one she didn't. What am I going to do with these two? The film starts with a young girl making up her twin, which I'm sure holds no significance to the plot whatsoever. And here we have a happy couple discussing their wedding plans.
We can have any kind of a wedding you want. Underwater, horseback.
Naked skydiving?
Naked skydiving.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice that they're living together and being happy. What could possibly go wrong? Well?
No. Because I'm hanging up now.
Excuse me, mister, I heard your ex. She said you promised to call her. You can't do that and then break your promise and then be annoyed when she... Okay, Bridget Fonda is naked now.
Yeah, Lisa, honey, can we talk
Damn it.
about this tomorrow?
You can't come over here and sleep with me and then
Damn it,
just
Allie!
sleep.
I told you to shut this thing
Sam,
off.
you said you were gonna call.
It turns out he's still sleeping with his ex-wife. So, now that they're breaking up, where is Allie going to live? Well, she decides to stay in New York and get a roommate, and not live with her single gay best friend who also lives in New York and seems lovely. The process of meeting and interviewing potential roomies begins, and honestly, I can't see what's wrong with half of them.
Nice. Yeah, really open them up.
I'm an incest survivor, you know. I haven't remembered the incident yet, but I know it's there somewhere. I mean, I just have the sense that I survived something.
I think this could work. And if you feel the same, please give me a call.
Allie has herself a moment by the fridge, just as Jennifer Jason Leigh appears.
Hedra. That's unusual.
Sorry, Hedra.
Not Hedy, like Hedy Lamar. I mean, that's exotic.
Sorry, Hedy. At the beginning, the character seems rather sweet. I'm used to seeing her actress as embittered and matter-of-fact in Dolores Claiborne, so that was a nice surprise. They bond over the tap bursting, and before we know it, Hedy is moving in.
Oh, it's not bad. It's just kind of old. Sometimes this gets stuck and you have to use the screwdriver.
An old rickety metal lift, you say? Chekhov's gun locked and loaded. So Allie and Hedy get on very well, decorating the place, even borrowing each other's clothes. Except when they're not wearing clothes, of course. Spoiler alert, there is a lot of that in this movie. Another erotic thriller, no doubt. You know your friends and family watch this, don't you? Yes, I'm aware. Why are you naked? I'm just embracing the spirit of the film, that's all. No reason nudity! Oh, for God's sake, this is not that kind of channel. Hedy reveals to our protagonist that she had a stillborn twin, which has led to a kind of emptiness inside herself. And wouldn't you know it, stalkers tend to be very lonely people. It's half the reason why they have so much free time to do the stalking in the first place. In Hedy's case, though, lonely is a bit of an understatement. Her life is so empty that she doesn't know what she's called until Allie tells her. But of course, we haven't quite got to the creepy behaviour yet.
Thanks, they're great.
No messages.
Oh look, there's a doggo! Oh, it's a little pup. Oh, look how cute and floofy he is.
I know I shouldn't have, but they were just giving them away at the market and...
Allie doesn't want to keep it, but that's the thing about puppy dogs. They tell you to take the dog away and then bring it back to the shop if you change your mind, but you're not going to change your mind. There's a whole sales technique named after this. Things are going swimmingly until Ali's boyfriend Sam forces his way into the flat to talk to her. And, incredibly, the two manage to reconcile. Which Hedy is not going to like, because it means she'll have to move out again. And yep, more nudity. What? Eventually, Ali comes home to an extremely upset Hedy.
Your timing is great, Ali. It's really great. You promised me that this wouldn't happen. Exactly this.
Nothing's happened, Hedy. Come on.
Well, at least things at work are going well for her. Oh yeah, this guy. We saw earlier on that Ali had a meeting with this guy, her first client, and took the job for less money because he promised to spread the good word about her. How many times have we heard that, eh, freelancers? Exposure does not pay the bills, does it? Would you stop being naked for 5 minutes? So for a while, Ali, Sam and Hedy try living together until something else can be worked out. Hedy does a nice job of encroaching on their relationship under the guise of being a terrific roommate.
Buddy, come here, boy. Come on. Three's a crowd, sweetie.
It's all right, Hedy. He's fine.
Oh, and the dog won't come to her anymore, for some reason.
Buddy, come. Come. Come on.
Don't hurt the dog, 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 don't hurt the dog. Oh no! You had to have seen that coming. The dog always cops it in these films. Not in Fatal Attraction, the bunny cops it in that one. Besides, I'm sure it was all an accident. Look, Hedy's just as upset as we are.
If I just let you finish your work this morning.
Yeah, well, that's likely to gain Sam's sympathy. And maybe a little more besides. As he guides her back to her room, Hedy tries to go in for a smooch and it doesn't quite... The next day, Sam goes off on his planned business trip without Ali, and she goes off to work. Her boss persuades her to stay late and show him her software, if you know what I mean.
Mitch.
Now look, I've been a good boy, haven't I? And you've been a good girl. This is your last chance to play before you're an old married lady.
We seem to be seeing a lot of sexual assault going on in the thriller horror genres. To be expected, I suppose. Now, to escape the clutches of Lechy McBoss, Ali employs a technique which was once disturbingly recounted to me by my mother on one occasion. If someone is forcing themselves upon you, you must submit initially, then wait until they're occupied, and then go for the eyes, neck, scratch their gums out, whatever. Of course, the effectiveness of this last resort tactic depends on the attacker. The technique was also used by Mrs. Bowden in Cape Fear 1991, remember, against Max Cady, who could easily overpower her and suitably punish her for daring to fight back. But as far as I can tell, this specific type of fighting back is still being used in cinema. We even see it employed in this film quite successfully, although it wasn't in the book that it was adapted from, so... It's kind of a chilling message to send to audiences when you think about it. Turns out that Hedy has a gift for threatening people, as she calls up Ali's boss to put him in his place.
If you trash me around town, you're fucked. And your family is fucked too. You got that? It won't just be you. Ta-da! Gee, Hedy, I hope you never get mad at me.
She then takes out Ali, promising her a special surprise. I'm going to let this scene speak for itself.
You've got to be kidding.
That is the most terrifying haircut I've seen since probably Forrest Whitaker from The Experiment. And it also signals the transition in Hedy's head from wanting to have Ali all to herself to actually wanting to be Ali. And wouldn't you know, this character has also been speculated to have borderline personality disorder. This incorrigibly jealous, desperately insecure, violent, eggshelly type woman. Yep, these films do not do a great service to women with mental illnesses, do they? Right, I mean, what's with all the psychotic, hysterical lady villains? Why do men always get to be the cool kind of sociopath? Excuse me, the cool kind of sociopath? You seem to be forgetting that the likes of Cy Parrish and Max Cady are still shown to be mentally unstable. And in one film, the Stalker character is actually assumed in film to have erotomania, or de Clerambault syndrome, a specific illness which directly feeds into their dangerous pattern of behaviour. Now, enough about enduring love. I'll get around to it next year, possibly. I mean, admittedly, our sample size of movie stalkers is very small, so whether or not mental health is addressed equally across the board, I really couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you what's the matter with Hedy. But what we do know from Ali combing through her secret belongings is that she's been telling quite a few porky pies. For instance, her real name is Ellen Besh, and her supposed stillborn twin was actually drowned at the age of 9. Ali also discovers that Hedy has been keeping hold of some letters sent by Sam apologising for cheating. Curiouser and curiouser.
I love myself like this.
There then follows a scene where Ali follows Hedy to a BDSM-style club. There doesn't seem to be a reason for this scene except to show that Hedy is still pretending to be Ali. Also more nudity and hanky-panky. Time to confide in Graham, methinks. He tells her to get rid of Hedy or he'll call the police himself.
That was very impressive.
I can be butch when I have to. I get it from my mother. You sure you want to go down there?
Yeah. She's my problem. I'll handle it.
I still have no idea why Ali didn't go and live with him. Is she just not a cat person? I guess that must be it. Anyway, Hedy hears the whole thing, pays a visit to Graham, and comes away with blood-soaked clothes. Well, Hedy, how are you going to explain that one?
Mine always comes when I'm wearing something nice.
Oh. Ah, okay then. After this, she pays a visit to Sam in his hotel room, again pretending to be Ali, and essentially forces sex on him so she can blackmail him away from her favourite person. Sam doesn't intend to be blackmailed though, so Hedy ends up murdering him. With a stiletto heel. Girl power? Next day, Ali discovers what's happened to Sam and realises that Hedy is responsible. Hedy explains that she's framing Ali for the murders and that they'll both have to go on the run. Living their lives together as fugitives. Bonnie and Bonnie. So let me get this straight. In the film, Hedy has threatened, killed, hogtied and committed puppycide, but hasn't actually stalked our victim from afar. But she's a ubiquitous, intimidating constant. She has wormed her way completely into Ali's life. She is just like Barbara Covett from Notes on a Scandal. Except it took Barbara the whole movie to get her stalky right where she wanted her.
Can I have my wife back, please?
I don't like your tone.
Why is she always here? What kind of fucking spell has she cast on you?
And make no mistake, if Ali had succeeded in moving Hedra out of her apartment, the harassment would have continued nonetheless. What are you looking at? Sorry, what were you saying? Well, Okay, so Hedy goes out to run a few errands, leaving Ali tied up in Graham's apartment. But she attempts to get help, first by blasting the television, and then later by writing a message on the computer to Letchy McBoss, who suddenly finds that he can't use any of Ali's software. Naturally, he runs over to Graham's place because he stands to lose a lot of money from this. Letchy McBoss, to the rescue!
Don't worry about her. I took care of her.
Never mind. Ali is forced to write her own suicide note by Hedy, who has given up on the idea of them becoming one another's twin. Heck, she was even flirting with the idea of harassing someone else while she was out.
I like it. I just thought the other was more you.
Well, maybe next time I'll try the blonde.
Really? Why?
Did you know that identical twins are never really identical? There's always one who's prettier, and the one who's not does all the work. She used me, and then she left me.
She was 9. Unbelievably, Graham is not dead, and he awakes from his unconscious state, presumably with severe brain damage given how long he's been out. He is briefly useful, but then our protag and antag continue their desperate fight in that rickety elevator from earlier. And end up in the deepest bowels of the building. Of course, Hedy doesn't check for a pulse. Maybe she loves Ali too much for that. eventually defeats her, as you'd expect. We get a little bit of voiceover before the credits, and that's it. I think we could have done without the VO, personally, but there you go. And that was Single White Female, proof that someone could walk into your life and ruin it well before the invention of Craigslist. Proof that nudity improves any movie. Proof that home invasion films are not the same as stalker films. You're really a stickler on this point, aren't you? Because I know what true stalking is. I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you mean that wasp that comes to our window day and night? I really must stop leaving jam sandwiches all over the place. Have you forgotten the dark web creature? The what? Lilac. Call it by its proper name. What do you mean, dark web? The dark web is a big unseen chunk of the... Okay, maybe some criminal activity goes on there, but you expect me to believe watching the What Are You Thinking video has unwittingly infected your life with a transphysical evil presence. Yes. That's not possible. I'm afraid it's true. You two realise we're a few weeks shy of April 1st, right? The sad fact is you're dealing with a demonic stalker. You don't look too sad about it. Well, I think it's sort of nice to have the attention. Oh boy. The conditions of the ritual and your talisman will hold up for as long as they can. All your lazy ass has to do is provide us with the necessary power to stave off this thing. Right. Right, so I guess the takeaway from Stalker Month is... safety in numbers. Close enough. Oh, Bernard, what's to become of me? I do not like that answer. Well, I'll give this movie, say, 7 jam sandwiches out of 10, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio. Chekhov's gun is locked and loaded. This is a shit gun.